What is up, guys? Latest episode of the Rundown, Kyle Stackpole, WashingtonFootball.com. Here as always, my good friend Zach Selby. Zach, we finally made it to the bye week. How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good, especially since we won the other day. That feels going into the bye week like a lot better. And I think there is some room for growth, but I think we've also shown that there are some opportunities to really make a run of this thing here, because you take some time, you get healthy, get rested, and then you have Giants, then you have the Lions, then you have the Bengals, then you have the Cowboys again on Thanksgiving, which you've already beaten handedly, I might add.
There we go.
So yeah, like you showed the standard. Now you have to live up to it, and I think we've also lived up to that standard. I think we've done a pretty good job delivering all this great content for the past 7 or 8 weeks or so. Longer than that, honestly, with training camp and everything. But yeah, I think. And do you want to do the plugs? Or do you want me to do the plugs?
I think you got to do the plugs.
Oh, I think I do. Yeah. So this is an official podcast of the Washington Football Team, and you can check us out on Stitcher. Get that first this time. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, Stevie. Yeah, you can check us out on the Twitter since I'm older. I say the Twitters, Kyle Stackpole, Zach D. Selby. You can check us out, all of our work on WashingtonFootball.com. But Kyle, let's get into it. What's on the docket today? What we got?
So just as the Washington Football Team is using this time to reflect and gear up for the rest of the season, we're going to reflect on the first 7 weeks.
Real introspective this week.
The first annual Parkies Awards. Ooh. All right? If you've seen The Office, you get the reference. There we go. I was going to say if you haven't, go watch it, but Zach already gave it away.
You should watch it anyway.
You can still watch it.
Yeah.
So first annual Parkies, we got 10 awards here. Then we have some rapid fire stuff. So let's jump right into it. First up, we have Offensive MVP. Who do you think?
I think you really there are two obvious answers that you really have to go with here, and I chose Antonio Gibson. I mean, even though he's a rookie, he's been the dude on this team.
He's been a dude.
He to Chase Young, the dude on offense. Well, we'll say a dude.
Okay.
Yeah, because we don't want to disrespect Terry like that, because he is also being a dude. But he was 8th in DVOA according to Football Outsiders, which is pretty impressive considering he's not even really played running back for that long. And he's a receiver at Memphis, and he comes in and he has 518 total yards, and that's second only to Chef Terry, who has 577, and he averages 4.4 yards per carry. I mean, again, like you look at what he's been able to do. I mean, he had 20 carries against Dallas, and he had 33 it was 33 55. Either way,
33 rushes.
Yeah, 33 rushes. Yeah, at Memphis. I mean, he's still learning, and he's able to do some of these great things at running back. So I look at him and I say, wow, you can't really have a Washington offense this year without him.
Well, you really can't have a Washington offense without my guy, Terry McLaurin.
Of course.
Someone had to go with him. I mean, he's 6th in the NFL in receiving yards, 10th in receptions. He's had at least 7 targets in every single game. He's only had 1 game less than 60 yards. I mean, He's also doing this he started with Dwayne Haskins. Now he's with Kyle Allen, who he didn't really have a lot of time to mesh with. So, and he's going against some of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. I mean, we've already gone through who he's gone up against, but these haven't been easy matchups. And with the lack of other receivers or other threats, really, offensively, a lot of defenses are keying on him, and he's still getting it done. Yeah. So he's got to be my guy. He had such a great rookie year, and he's been even better this year. He's moving around the formations. He's catching everything, so he's been fantastic.
Well, Trayvon Diggs definitely does know.
He knows.
Now, we're going to move on here, and we're going to go on to the other side of the ball for defensive MVP. I mean, who do you have in this race here?
So I was gonna pick a player, and then I decided to change most valuable player to most valuable person. And I'm going to go with Jack Del Rio.
Come on. It's a little bit of a cop-out, but we'll let it slide.
I think I'm being creative here. But so Jack Del Rio works magic in his first years as defensive coordinator. So 2002, he joins Carolina. They go from 32nd overall defense to 2nd.
Yeah.
A decade later, he goes to Denver. They go from 20th to 2nd. And now, 2020, he's in Washington. They were 27th last year. Right now, they're 4th. 4th total defense, number 1 passing defense. Check out, I wrote a story about it, WashingtonFootball.com. Number one, and it's not even that close. 100, I think it's like 186 yards allowed per game, which is pretty incredible. So he's been able to come in here, and there were some skeptics, especially when there was that stretch where they were giving up 30 points a game. They were giving up those big plays, but they've really clamped down these past 2 weeks, and it seems like that success is only going to carry into the rest of the season. So I think the growing pains are behind them. Jack Del Rio's got this unit humming, and it's exciting to watch.
Well, I'm going to go with a person, or not person, a player.
I was saying, you're going to go with a person?
No, I'm not going to be a cop-out like you. I'm going to go with an actual player. And I'm going to go with Montez Sweat because the guy has 5 sacks, and he's really been the stud of this defensive line. I mean, in a position group full of studs, he's been a monster in a lot of ways. And I think Ron Rivera said it best earlier this year when he said that he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. And this has been something that has been progressing since the start of training camp. I mean, he's been on a tear. I mean, whenever they're doing one-on-one pass rushes, he was winning all of his matchups, and he's carrying that over into the regular season. And I think in a season where you look at Chase Young, all the attention is on him, see what he's going to do. Montez Sweat is reminding you that he's a pretty good guy as well, and also on top of that, he's fast. He talked down Cam Akers against the Rams. I mean,
that was really
impressive. It was a 40-plus yard game, but still, defensive end hawking down a running back is nothing to sneeze at. So I got to go with Montez Sweat here.
Sneeze at? That's a good line.
Yeah.
Montez Sweat. I like Montez Sweat.
It's very disapproving to sneeze at somebody.
If I had to choose a player, I probably would have gone with either Sweat or Kendall Fuller. He's also been great. Special teams MVP, I don't know how much discussion there is here. I think it's pretty obvious, but Zach, who do you have?
I mean, it's Tress Way, right? I mean,
it's got to be Tress.
It's got to be the guy. And, just if you need an example, look at what he did against Dallas. He had a punt that pinned Dallas down at the 3. I mean,
no one even touched it. The ball just died.
It just bounced and it was done.
Yep.
And, if you need any indication to how hard that is to actually do as a punter. I know punters sometimes they get forgotten, but Tress Way is one of the best players on this team. I mean, there's no discussion about it, and I think he could have another Pro Bowl season. To play 2 in a row, I mean that would be big. I mean, maybe a bold prediction, but I don't think it is because he's, like I said, one of the best players on the team. And he's definitely one of the best punters in the entire league. So I say, easily Tress Way.
Yeah, I agree with you, Tress Way. Just some stats for you. So he's top 5 in net punting, punts inside the 20. He's only got 2 touchbacks. As the Rundown podcast, we like to give people nicknames. Chef Terry. I think I started the Tress Bay movement.
Tress Bay.
I'm not sure if I did. If someone else figured it out before me, let me know. But Tress Bay, that's what we're going to refer to him as on the pod.
I'm down for it.
All right,
I'm
Chef Terry, Tress Bay. Cornelius Lucas, maybe Big Corn.
I like Big Luke better.
Big Luke? All right. I know, I floated that idea on Twitter yesterday.
Not a big Corn fan.
People didn't love it. But anyway, Tress Way has been fantastic, and even it's hard to highlight someone when they were losing and he was punting a lot, but he was doing all that he could to pin them back and really help out the defense. So moving forward here, I think this is also a pretty easy one, but we'll see what you got. Most influential coach, who do you got?
It's Ron Rivera. It has to be Ron Rivera. I mean, the guy just finished up his cancer treatment, which congratulations to Ron Rivera. That is a massive accomplishment, and we wish nothing but the best for him. And he's been the leader. He's been the standard, and he's set the tone for how this culture is going to be shaped while he's here. And, they go how he goes. And, he's been a rock. Even when he's had this moments of uncertainty going through cancer treatment, he's been their rock. And, he's been so inspirational to all these players and coaches. I don't see how you can go with anybody else.
I totally agree. I mean, when Kyle Allen was asked about what is the identity of this team, he talked about a toughness and a grittiness and how it starts with Rivera because of everything you mentioned and everything he's going through. And the other thing is that people have gotten on him about the quarterback change and not using timeouts and the perceived mixed messaging going on. But, Washington is a 2-point conversion away from being 3-4 and being first in the division, and they still have a decent chance of making a run. And, you just compare what's going on here to what's going on in Dallas. They had the same record, but the vibe and around here is so much better because all the players and coaches are behind Rivera, whereas you don't really know what's going on in Dallas. So it's just that the fact that he's been able to, even when they were struggling, keep the team together, really work for the long haul. And I mean, the practices have been a lot better. The performances have been a lot better. So it's got to be Rivera, and it seems like he's building something. And fans are finally starting to see it.
True. Yeah. And moving on to the next one, his best rookie. I think it's an easy decision, but who do you got?
So I wrote down 2 names, and I was going to say who you chose first. I'm trying to be a little diverse and give fans multiple players. But all right, whatever. I'll go with Chase Young.
I was also going to go with Chase Young.
Antonio Gibson has been great. He's been, I guess you could say, he's been more productive in terms of stats, but Chase Young has just wreaked havoc off the edge, and he's made things so much easier for the other defensive linemen and even the linebackers. I mean, Jack Del Rio was talking about how the numbers might not be there, but he's been outstanding. And there was 2 examples in the past 2 games. During the Daniel Jones interception at the goal line to Kendall Fuller, it was Chase Young who got in his face, and basically Daniel Jones had to throw a desperation heave trying to get it out of the end zone. And then on a 4th down on Sunday, he was right in the face of Andy Dalton, who had to launch it downfield, and it was incomplete. So the sacks haven't come yet, and a big reason for that is teams they're double teaming him, they're chipping him, and there's nothing he can do about it. But he's been as good as advertised, and I think he's been the best rookie so far.
You pretty much stole all my points.
I'm sorry.
But I will say that, we'll expand on what Jack Del Rio said. He said that a lot of times he's taken some plays and been chipped and doubled where Jonathan Allen has been the beneficiary of that. I mean, and those 2 plays, there are several others where he's been just hawking down quarterbacks and altering their throws. I mean, that doesn't show up on the box score except for as an incompletion, but it definitely expands a lot larger than what the stat really shows. Final one before we take a break here is the best play. I think this is an easy decision, but what do you got?
You go first.
The 52-yard touchdown to Terry McLaurin. I mean, and just the story behind it, jawing with Trayvon Diggs before, and then seconds later just making him look like burnt toast. I mean,
like black toast.
Yeah,
like
seriously,
done.
just annihilate. You can't even eat, not even edible toast. And
it just crumbles in your hand.
Exactly. And the smile after that touchdown was just gold.
Oh yeah,
gold. And I mean, it's maybe a little bit of recency bias, but I think that is the best play so far. We still have 7 or 8 games to go, but I think that's the best play so far for this offense.
I think the one we have to mention is Alex Smith getting into the game, being back on the field after 693 days. When he suffered that injury November 18, 2018, no one thought he was going to play again. I mean, he almost lost his leg. He had 17 surgeries. It was a life-threatening injury, and the fact that he not only returned to practice, made the active roster, then was named the backup, and then all of a sudden, when we didn't think he would get in, Kyle Allen gets hurt, and Alex Smith runs out there. And he completes his first pass. So I think best play is going to be Alex Smith's first completion coming back from injury. And it just shows the toughness. It shows the resiliency. It shows everything that you want to see out of a professional football player, the drive. And, I mean, we've talked about it so much, but I feel like it needs to have its due now as one of the best plays this year, one of the best plays since the injury happened, because it really is incredible what he's been able to accomplish. But, yeah, the Terry one, and just how, Fox did Trayvon Diggs no favors, going out to break, and they have a zoom in on Trayvon's face, and then Terry turned around with the slick smile. So that was a really cool moment. All right, so we've done 6 awards. We got 4 more to go, and then we got some rapid fire questions, and we'll close this thing out. So stay with us. This fall, if you're looking for adventure, find it in a new Honda, like the turbocharged Accord, the turbocharged all-wheel drive CR-V, and the all-wheel drive HR-V, with great features like second-row magic seats. It's time to explore and say hello to the open road. Don't miss your chance to get a great deal on your favorite Honda model. When it comes to the best value, Honda leaves the others in the dust. See your local Honda dealer and start your adventure today.
At RTS, game day strategy doesn't stop when the whistle blows. RTS delivers smarter, more responsible waste and recycling services. As an official partner of the Washington football team, RTS is connecting the team and FedEx Field with sustainable solutions to care for the community and the environment. RTS, a better waste company. Find out more at rts.com.
Has your business been affected by COVID-19? Have you considered reducing or moving your office space? Then it's time to call Victory Van. We provide the best service and price with flexible options for your company's moving and storage needs. Visit victoryvan.com to get your free moving and storage quote today. For corporate storage and moving, it's always the right move to choose Victory Van. That's victoryvan.com. Victory Van Corporation, delivering excellence for 75 years and a proud partner of the Washington football team.
Finch Services Incorporated, recognized in its industry as a world-class organization, is the exclusive supplier of John Deere golf and sports turf maintenance equipment for the Mid-Atlantic region. In business since 1945, Finch helps golf course and sports turf managers maintain some of the most exclusive playing surfaces in the region. Experience the Finch advantage for yourself. Contact one of our golf and sports turf sales specialists to see how we can help you maintain your field of dreams. Go to finchturf.com for more information.
We're retiring our old name and launching a new kind of legend. The journey starts now. Visit WashingtonJourney.com for latest insider news related to the team rebrand.
Couchgating, presented by the DC Lottery. Couchgating is the new tailgating. Enter to win a chance at a WFT DC Lottery fan pack. Celebrate your Couchgate by sharing a photo using hashtag CouchgatingDCL. To have your Couchgating photo featured on the Couchgating Wall of Fame, please post your photos on social media using the tags at Washington Football, at DC Lottery, and the hashtag CouchgatingDCL for consideration. Please note that not all photos will be accommodated on the Couchgating Wall of Fame, and all Couchgating photos are posted at the sole discretion of the Washington football team.
We're back. The first annual Parkies Awards. Kyle Stackpole with Zach Selby, Stevie Katz in the 1s and 2s. Got 4 more awards for you, so let's just jump right into it. Biggest surprise this season. There's been a lot of stuff that's gone on, a lot of moving parts, a lot of different storylines, but what has been the biggest surprise to you?
I think it has been the emergence of one Cameron Curl.
Okay.
I mean, the 7th round rookie out of Arkansas. And, you know, it's hard to make a roster as a 7th round pick. I mean, you know, he said earlier this year that, you know, that's really close to just being undrafted. And, you know, he's exceeded all of their expectations. And, you know, Rivera also said that, you know, maybe if we would have had a real regular offseason and a really regular draft process, we would have possibly seen a little bit more out of Cameron Curl, and maybe he would have been drafted higher. Maybe he wouldn't have been there for Washington to come and get him, but he was there, and you know he's balled out. He has 17 tackles, 2 for a loss, and he came in and he started whenever Landon Collins went down, and he played really well. I think you know there could be a chance for him to have that role for the rest of the year. I mean, with the way that he's been playing so far, and you know one time he led all rookies in coverage grade.
Yeah,
I mean that's a big deal, and you know we'll see how he does for the rest of the year. But I think he's got their attention, and I've been pleasantly surprised with the way that he's been playing.
Yeah, he's been really good, and definitely the biggest surprise among the rookies. I'm gonna go with not necessarily a player, but just something that happened: the quarterback switch. Mm-hmm. So Washington loses to the Ravens, but Dwayne Haskins completes 31 of 42, I think, for 200, or was it over 300, 280 yards? 300 yards? He might have went over. I don't know what the numbers were. But he had a good game, or at least statistically had a good game.
Yeah.
And then the following Wednesday, it comes out that Kyle Allen's going to get the start. And we talked about this when it happened. I mean, to me, it was shocking. Like, oh, my God.
That was the longest day I think I've had in a long time.
And it was just, you know, news got announced at 9:30, and it was like, okay, the whole season, the whole future of the franchise changes because you know that's your first round quarterback you draft last year. But it seems like it's paying off. I mean, the first game Kyle Allen got hurt, but he looked good through first, you know, quarter and a half. Mm-hmm. The turnovers were big against the Giants, and those definitely have to. I mean, there can't be those kind of turnovers, and you got to limit them overall. But the offense ran better; it ran more efficiently. More people got involved, and then the offense really put it all together against the Cowboys, and we talked about it a lot on the recap podcast. They ran the ball really well. Kyle Allen didn't make mistakes. He managed the game. So it seems like this move, while surprising and shocking, and a lot of people thought it was the wrong move at first, seems to be paying off.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and you will see what Dwayne's development is in the future. But I think for right now, Rivera explained how he explained it. He says that Kyle Allen gives us a chance to make something of it. And we'll see where Dwayne develops later on. But next one, I don't know if this is necessarily a good Parky, but biggest disappointment. I mean, what's your thinking here with this?
Yeah, it's not necessarily an award, but it's
it's an acknowledgement.
Yeah, acknowledgement. There we go. So I'm going to go with Sadiq Charles, and to no fault of his own. I mean, he came in 4th round pick, but they were really high on him. He gets hurt in training camp, and he was out for a while, and then he comes back to practice, and then he suffers a setback with a leg injury, and then he comes back to practice, and oh, wow, okay, he's going to make his first career start against the Giants. He was looking really good. They're going to put him at guard, even though he was listed as a tackle because he has that position versatility that the coaches like.
Right.
And 2 plays into the Giants game, he dislocates his knee, and now he's out.
Horrible luck.
And he goes on injured reserve. And they don't think it's not a season-ending injury. He's going to be able to come back, maybe even after the bye. I guess he's out 3 weeks, but after the bye week or a couple weeks after the bye week. But it's you hate to see it for a guy like that. Not even just for the team. It stinks for the team, but just for him to be able to have to deal with all this early in his career when he was on the field, he was performing well. He wouldn't have gotten the start if he wasn't. So that's just really, really tough, and we hope he gets back to full strength and really hope that we see him in more of a full-time role going forward.
Yeah, he definitely did play good. And even in those 2 snaps, Rivera said he blocked their best defensive tackles.
That was the best 2-snap praise I've ever heard from anyone.
Yeah, so if those 2 snaps are any indication, whenever he comes back, we've got a good one on us. I'm gonna go the similar route, but with a different player. I'm gonna go with Cole Holcomb because this was a guy who was expected to be a bigger contributor heading into training camp, and Jack Del Rio said that he did have a good training camp, but then he kind of tailed off a little bit, and he played in week 1, then he got hurt, and it was a knee injury. He was inactive for the next 4 weeks, and that was you really needed him to be there because Rivera said after Sunday's game that he was definitely missed during that stretch, and he comes back against the Giants, leads the team with Shazer Everett with 6 tackles, comes back the next week, has 5 tackles and a sack and his first career interception. That's the kind of production that you obviously do miss because Rivera has said that the linebacking position is one that needs to be better, and having him back definitely does help. Clearly. So I think all the signs are pointing towards Cole Holcomb being better, but I really wanted to see him sort of have that breakout game earlier this year.
Definitely, and I think Cole could actually be a candidate for this next award, most likely to break out. We saw the breakout game, but that's something that he might be able to do consistently throughout the rest of the season. I have a different player, and you might probably have a different player as well. So who do you think is the most likely to break out this second half of the season?
I'm going to go with one we haven't really thought about, and that's the People's Corner. Jimmy Moreland.
I like that.
I think he's a guy that has not necessarily been lost, but we haven't really thought about him that much. And he's had 20 tackles, he has interception, and he's a guy who Rivera just loves. He loves the energy, he loves his sense of humor. Apparently he's really funny.
You can see it.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah, you just look at some guy and you're just like, he's got a joke or two. It's a good chuckle moment. Yeah, for sure. But I do think Jimmy Moreland could have a better role depending on what happens with Landon Collins. I think that this secondary could change a little bit, and maybe Jimmy Moreland could have a bigger role. And maybe he could be on the outside, put Kendall Fuller at safety. He's been known to do that a couple of times. And Chris Harris wants all of his players to be out, to be able to play in all positions. So I think that he could be a guy. Jimmy Moreland is a player who's known to play on the outside a little bit every now and again. So maybe with a secondary that's best in the league right now in pass defense, he could be another guy that has another star season, or at least second half of the season.
Yeah, and he definitely played more the past couple of games. He wasn't getting as much snaps, I guess, right when Kendall came back, but these past 2 he's gotten a lot more.
Yeah.
I'm going to move over to offense, and someone who we've really forgotten about, Steven Sims.
Yes.
He played the first 2 games, and then he was limited against Cleveland with the toe injury. He ended up being sidelined, going on IR. He still hasn't come back yet. But this is someone who, entering the year with Kelvin Harmon out, we expected him to be the clear-cut number 2 receiver, and he showed that he can perform in the NFL at the end of his rookie year.
Right.
So we don't know when exactly he's coming back, but we did see him like off to the side last week. There's a chance that after the bye week, who knows, he could be back on the field. And he's going to be someone who can recapture that slot position and really provide another weapon for Kyle Allen in addition to Terry McLaurin and Logan Thomas, Dontrell Inman. So he has been sorely missed because he provides that number 2 option that Kyle Allen or whoever's a quarterback can go to, and he just hasn't been healthy enough. And then with a toe injury, I mean, you're a wide receiver. That's just like, that's the worst injury to have.
You need your toes. Update, you need your toes.
Route running, cutting, but
walking.
I guess that too. Oh my God, dude. Gotta walk off. Anyway, Steven Sims, I think he's going to come back. I think he's going to have, just like last year, have a really strong finish to the year. Last award, and Stevie doesn't know that this is coming, but it's the Stevie Katz Underappreciated Player Award.
I saw this rundown. I was like, what?
I went rogue and created this one myself. But Stevie, I mean, she wears so many different hats for this department, like doing podcasts, doing the new Legacy show,
indubitably, yes.
doing all the press conferences. So Stevie, we really appreciate you. The whole department appreciates you.
Shout out, Stevie.
So yes, thank you for all you do. So let's go to the player, underappreciated player. Who do you think?
I'm gonna go with my guy Deron Payne. When I saw underappreciated, I think Deron Payne he's a quiet guy. He doesn't say all that much, but he definitely he's more of a quiet guy whenever the media addresses him. But he does his job. I mean, he has 14 pressures so far this year, and I mean, you don't look at an interior defensive tackle and think that he's an integral part of what they do, but he crashes the inside of the pocket. Whenever Matt and I were here, was healthy. He and those two were there crashing the pocket, and that helps the pass rush out a lot. Deron Payne is still doing that, and it hasn't always led up to sacks, but I think that when it does, it helps out Chase Young, Ryan Kerrigan, Montez Sweat. It helps out when the quarterbacks are flushed out to the pocket. They're able to use their elite speed and just chase down guys. And he's also a really solid run defender. I mean, he can bat down some passes. He's done that. He did that a lot last year. So I think Deron Payne, if you took him off this defensive line, I mean, it just wouldn't be the same.
Yeah, I agree with you on all those points, and that's why I had him as my underappreciated player as well. So for the sake of time, Zach said it all. Can't really dispute that. We're going to go to rapid fire. So I'll ask you a question. Quick answer. If you don't need an explanation, don't give one.
Okay.
I think we have 4 or 5. So best football name on the Washington football team.
Easy one. Chef, Terry, like we said, Cook's DBs, Trayvon Diggs, burnt toast. Enough said. Next one, most likely to get paid.
I got mine.
I thought we were going to go back and forth.
Oh, well, actually, let's just both.
Do you want to answer one, Kyle?
Yes, I want to answer this because
then.
I'm going with Tamarick Hemingway, because if you ask me any profession with the best name, it would be him, because he has a fantastic name. Moving forward,
Yes.
most likely to get paid. Who do you think?
I think I'm going to have to go with Kevin Pierre-Louis. Been doing really well this year. He signed a 1-year deal last in the offseason, and he's been balling out. Favorite of Jack Del Rio. Could be re-signed this year, I think.
I think it's going to be wide receiver X. They went after Amari Cooper last year, or this offseason, a lot of money. There's a lot of wide receivers out there. We know that Washington needs another receiver. They have a lot of cap space. Whoever they sign is going to get paid.
Yeah, I agree. Best quote. Who you got?
So this was not too long ago. A reporter, Matt Parrish for Washington Times, asked Jack Del Rio about what juice means, because Del Rio said that DeShazer Everett and Cole Holcomb had some juice. And Stevie, if we could just run this quote, it was pretty funny. Jack doesn't give that much away, but he was just very stern in his answer. He was very serious. So here it is.
If I have to describe it, then that just means that you don't get it, and I'm not going to try and explain it to you. It's like,
you ought
to be able to throw that out there. You ought to know what that means.
No, I do. I just was.
I'm bringing juice right now.
All right, well, I think for my best quote, that was one of my contenders, honestly. But I'll go with another Jack Del Rio quote. It doesn't matter how many snaps you get, it's what you do with those snaps.
I like that.
And I think that can be so relatable just to anybody is, once you have your opportunities, you take them and you see what you can do with them and you do your best. I think that he was talking about Ryan Kerrigan. Ryan Kerrigan is a perfect example of that so far this year.
All right, final two, just one-word answers, and I'll give one word as well. Best dance moves?
Chase.
Who do you want in your fantasy team?
Chef Terry.
My answers, Jimmy Moreland and Antonio Gibson. No
Fair.
explanation needed.
Fair enough.
All right, that's all we got for the awards. Hope you guys enjoyed them. To close this thing out, I wanted to revisit our predictions because I know we both went on JP or the Washington Football Talk podcast, gave our predictions. I'm not even sure what I said. I think I said 8-8.
8-8, yeah.
I think you said
7-9.
7-9. So, do you want to change those? They're 2-5 entering the bye week. They got a very winnable stretch coming up, followed by a few tough games. So, where do you think they're going to finish?
I'm sticking with 7-9. I think all these next 4 or 5 games are winnable. And they almost won against the Giants. They beat the Cowboys. They have both those teams coming up again soon. So 7-9, I think they're going to make some improvements this year. I don't think 2-5 is indicative of how they're going to finish.
I agree with that, but I do think it is really hard to win in the National Football League, and even the games that Washington expects to win, those teams are improving too. I mean, Cincinnati's offense has been playing really well, and Detroit has weapons too. So I think they're going to finish 6-10. It's double the win total from last year, and that would mean that they would beat a couple more good teams, which would be big going forward. And who knows, maybe that's enough to win the NFC East. It honestly might be, which would be like the worst division, the worst record for a division winner in NFL history. But I mean, this season has been insane. So I'm going to go with 6-10, but the encouraging type of 6-10, not the disappointing 6-10.
You feel good about yourself after
exactly.
that, yeah.
So hope you guys enjoyed. That was a lot of fun. I think we covered all the
But wait
awards.
a minute, Kyle. Get ready because y'all about to hear some plugs. Here we go. This is an official podcast of the Washington Football Team.
We
you
are.
can check us out on Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn. You can check us out on the Twitters at Kyle F. Stackpole, at Zach D. Selby. And YouTube. We're on YouTube.
Yep.
You can check us out. Our beautiful faces are going to be on YouTube, so check that out. You can check all of our wonderful content on WashingtonFootball.com. Now, do you have anything else?
Yes, I do.
What?
So this podcast is going to be out on Thursday, and then we won't have another podcast until next Thursday when we're previewing the Giants once again.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll have to figure out someone to talk to.
Yeah, I got a couple ideas.
Okay, cool. So we'll have that for you going forward. Preview pod, wrap up pod. If you have any ideas, any thoughts, any suggestions, let us know. Be sure to give us 5 stars, rate, subscribe wherever you get your podcast. We really appreciate it. And enjoy the bye week. Enjoy NFL Red Zone. Enjoy watching some other games, and get ready for the rest of the season because it's going to be a good one. So for Kyle Stackpole, he's Zach Selby. This is The Rundown.
COVID changed everything. More demands on students, parents, educators. But there was a $4 billion education shortfall in Maryland even before COVID. We have a lot to do for our kids. Close the digital divide, provide opportunities to pursue vocational and technical education, and hire more qualified teachers. Question 2 will put millions into Maryland schools using revenue from sports betting. I know it won't solve every problem, but a yes vote will help our Maryland schools.
For more than 100 years, Chesapeake Employers Insurance has been helping Maryland businesses keep their workers safe. With competitive pricing and an AM Best A- financial strength rating, it's no surprise that Chesapeake Employers is Maryland's largest writer of workers' comp insurance.
At the end of every workday, someone's waiting for your safe return.
Connect with your agent or visit CEIWC.com.
Locally owned Novak is energizing the community in powerful ways. From sponsoring meals for first responders and medical professionals to donating generously to area food banks, Novak knows we're in this together. Novec and customers are funding crisis energy assistance by having their bills rounded up each month. Novec and employees are supporting local charities through Novec Helps. That's the power of working together. That's Novec.
And now, time for another Honda highlight. Jed was in mid-season form when his car went into an early retirement. Looking to upgrade his roster to all-wheel drive, Jed went down to his local Honda dealer. Jed scouted the CR-V, Pilot, Passport, and more. In the end, Jed saved his season by picking up a new versatile HR-V with collapsible magic seats. Savvy stuff, Jed. Very savvy stuff.
Save your season with a great deal on an all-wheel drive Honda. See your local Honda dealer today.
COVID changed everything. More demands on students, parents, educators. But there was a $4 billion education shortfall in Maryland even before COVID. We have a lot to do for our kids. Close the digital divide, provide opportunities to pursue vocational and technical education, and hire more qualified teachers. Question 2 will put millions into Maryland schools using revenue from sports betting. I know it won't solve every problem, but a yes vote will help our Maryland schools.